Question 25. The graphs of f of x is equal to, I'm going to use my highlighter here. The graphs of f of x is equal to 2 exponent x minus 8 is an exponential graph with a horizontal asymptote at negative 8. And g of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. It's a parabola here. And then as sketched below, b and c are the y-intercepts. That's a y-intercept. So of the graph of f and g respectively. Okay. It's the y and x intercept respectively. Okay. So yeah, b and c, b and c are the y-intercept. C being the y-intercept for f, and b being the y-intercept for, b being the y-intercept for f, and c being the y-intercept for g. So remember, for every y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So I think it's worth remembering. Okay, then and then the two graphs intersect at A. Here's the intersection, which is the turning point of the graph of G, and the x-intercept is also an x-intercept. It works to A. It is a turning point, and it's an x-intercept of the graph of f and g. So to understand the following then, that this is 4,5 on C, this 4,5 will be exactly here at C, here. So this I know is going to be 4,5. Even if you use your calculator and say 4,5, you know this will be like 9/2. Okay, so don't forget that it's like 9/2. Sharp. And then let's answer question 25.1. Question 25.1. Determine the coordinates of A and B. A is the turning point and an x-intercept. B is the y-intercept. But I'm going to use f of x because I've got the whole equation here. It's better to work with an equation with known factors there or parameters than unknown variables. So let me answer the question. So question 25.1. Determine, let's start with A. Now our A is, according to our statement, A is the turning point of f, turning point of the graph of G, and an x-intercept of the graph of f and G. So I'm going to take A as the x-intercept. It's an x-intercept of the graph of f, whereby y is equal to 0. So what I have to do now is solve for what? Solve for x when y is equal to 0. So here we go. F of x, which means y, is equal to 2 exponent x minus 8. For every x-intercept, y is equated to 0. So 0 is equal to 2 exponent x minus 8. Let us solve for 8. For x, now this is an exponential equation. I'm going to transpose the 8. It's going to be positive 8 equal to 2 exponent x. Now, two ways to do this one. I could prime factorize the 8 and write 2 cubed. This is equal to 2 exponent x. Once the bases are the same, therefore, it means your x is equal to 3. Someone else from this step can do logs. You can say, to drop down this x, you can introduce log on the other side of 8. The base is now 2. That's equal to x. If you press this on the calculator, it should give us the same answer. X is equal to 3. It's just a matter of preferring here. So, but then otherwise, we've got what the coordinates for A. It means A, x is 0. The y value is equal to 3. Let us find B. And then what is B? According to our statement, B, it's a y-intercept. For every y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So it means again, now we want f of 0. That's equal to 2 exponent 0 minus 8. So every number raised to 0, according to exponential definitions, is 1. So 1 minus 8 is equal to negative 7. So the function value at x equal to 0 is negative 7. So the coordinates for P are 0 is to negative 7. Okay, we've answered that question there. So me mark myself on this question. The question is out of 4 marks. Definitely I got all 4 marks. Okay, we've got that -7 and that. We've got here, I'm going to mark this rule, and I'm going to mark the x value as well. So we've got the coordinates. Now write down an equation of the asymptotes of f. F is an exponential graph. So they didn't show here, but it's actually there. If I may use my ruler. Okay, if I may use my ruler and put it here, that exponential graph for f, it does have a horizontal asymptote here. You can see the graph does not want to approach that line. Where do we sit on the equation? It's this one. So how do we write that one? It's labeled, it passes here at -8. So we label it as y is equal to -8. So as I answer the question, 25.2, the horizontal asymptote is y equal to -8. Then that's 1 mark right there. Now determine the equation of h. What is h? H of x will be determined by doing the following. Let me just write the question here. 25.3. For you to find h of x, you must take the graph of f, and where there is x, you substitute 2x, and then you add 8. Okay, so I'm going to do this now. H of x is equal to, I'm going to take the function for f of x. Remember that function is 2 exponent x minus 8. This is f of x. So if they want f of 2x, where there is x, you substitute 2x. So that means 2 exponent 2x and then minus 8. That's f of 2x. Then there's a plus 8 outside. So as I simplify this, 2 exponent 2x minus 8 plus 8. Minus 8 plus 8 is going to be a 0. Then we get our 2 exponent 2x. But I can't leave my graph like this one. It looks like an exponential graph. What if I did the following? 2 squared multiplied by x is still the same as x times 2. That's exponential definitions. So now 2 squared, I know it's 4. So 4 exponent x, that's my h of x. I think it's simpler when simplified like this. So you've got your answer there. Right. So now you've got what? You've got your 2 marks there. I'll give it a mark for substituting and for the answer. I don't know if you will be penalized if you left your answer like that one, but it's going to give you a problem on the next step. 25.4. 25.4. Determine an equation for h inverse. Remember, we have our h from the previous question. It is this one. So h inverse, let me write this in terms of y and x. Y is equal to 4 exponent x. So as I want my h inverse, remember, you start by swapping x and y. So where there is y, you put x. Where there is x, you put y. Now, to drop down the unknown exponent, we involve logarithms. So the base of this exponential power will be the base of the log on the other side. That's as simple as I put it. It's equal to what? Y. Let's see if we've answered the question. Yes, they said leave it in the form y is equal to. So you could write your y on the left hand side. That's log base 4 of x, and you done for swapping x and y and for the answer. Even if you wrote your answer only, you'd get full marks in this case. Let's go to 25.5. Question 25.5. Let's go. Write an equation for P. If P is the reflection of H inverse about the x-axis. You see that these reflections are repeating themselves. So if you are reflecting on the x-axis, what do? You change y. Just change the sign that you see there. So let's first write what? H inverse. So H inverse has got the following function. Y is equal to log base 4 of x. This is what this h inverse, right? So now we are reflecting on the x-axis, then you change the sign for y, but positive y must be the subject of the formula, so you divide the whole equation with -1. So therefore your answer should be y equal to a negative log base 4 of x. So that is 1 mark anyway, so that's 1 mark for the answer. Let's go to 25.6. I would like to do 25.6 just underneath here on this space. 25.6 is going to be hectic. So this is a question of integration with what? Here we are integrating the topics with number patterns, sequences, and series. Number patterns, sequences, and series. Because why? I can see sigma notation. Now sigma notation, this means sum, and sum means you are just adding terms. Okay, so let me interpret this piece by piece, right? So let me start with this piece. The sum of how many terms? Top minus bottom plus 1 for this g of k. But remember, what is g of k? G of k is a replacement of g of x. So g of x, what they did here, and g of k should be the same. They just replaced the variable. So what is g of x then, not g of k? Let's go to the graph. So it looks like here, remember we found coordinates here. That is 3:0. Okay, back. This is 3:0. And we've got this c, which is a y-intercept. These act as a turning point and an x-intercept. So we have to find the equation of the parabola first before we can substitute for g of k. So on the parabola, I'll look at a as the turning point. Someone else can look at a as x-intercept. So you'd be using this equation, a into x minus x1 and x minus x2. But the roots are equal there. So it means it's a into x minus just 1. So it's x minus 3 squared, because these are equal roots. You'd be doing this. Otherwise, I can look at this as a turning point. This a is a turning point on the function. So let me answer the question. So question 25. So question 25.6. Let me find g of x or g of k in that respect. So y, I see that the a is a turning point. So a into x plus p squared plus q. Now the q and the p is the turning point. Okay, so y is equal to a into x minus 3 squared plus 0. All I have to do now is solve for a, isn't it? But I have a problem with y and x for me to find what a. That's why I'm going to use the point c, which is 0:4,5. Right. So let me substitute. This is going to be my x value. This is going to be my y value. So 4,5 is like 9/2, right? 9/2 is equal to a into 0 minus 3 squared. So further simplification to find a. So negative 0 minus 3 is -3. -3 squared is 9. So that's going to be 9a this side. That's 9/2 this side. Sorry, 9/2. So I'll divide with 9 both sides. So it is now 9/2 multiplied by 1/9. That's equal to a. These two give you 1. So your value of a, it is equal to 1/2. So what is g of x? So g of x as a complete equation of the parabola is 1/2 into x minus 3 squared. Done. And then plus 0. That is the turning point. But some people would simplify it. So you'd write half, and then now squaring the square of a binomial there, you'd get the answer as x squared minus 6x and then a positive 9. So if I multiply out there, it's half of x squared, and then half of -6 is minus 3x, half of 9 is 9/2. That cannot be simplified. So what? This is g of x, right? because the sigma notation wants me to find g of k. They just changed the variable. So g of k, where there is x, I put k. So this is half k squared minus 3k and then plus 9 over 2. Okay. Then let us analyze the sigma notation. Now, let's say here, you want the sum. Let's just refer back. You want the sum starting, the first term starting from k equal to 0. The sum is generated by g of k, and the last term is given by 3. Then you subtract the sum of what? Again, you're subtracting the sum starting from k equal to what? 4, ending at last term at 5. The general term is given by g of k again. So I'm going to do this piece by piece. But first, every sigma notation, except for infinity, you must find out this is the sum of how many terms? The sum of how many terms? That's when you want to n. So n is equal to the top minus the bottom plus 1. This side I'm going to do the same thing. N is equal to top minus bottom plus 1. If you are marking the national exam, you know this is one of the biggest mistakes learners do not want to take, or candidates they don't want they forget to find the number of terms you are adding in the sigma notation. So here the number of terms is going to be top, that's 3 minus 0 plus 1. So how many terms am I adding here? 4 terms. So this is the sum of 4 terms. This is the sum of 4 terms. So the sum of 4 terms minus the sum of many terms this side. Top is 5 minus 4 plus 1. So n is equal to 2. So basically, remove this. So basically you want to find the sum of 4 terms this side minus the sum of 2 terms on the other side. Just one. Okay, lost my mic there. Show your calculations. You want to calculate. Your answer must be a value. So now let me calculate. I'm going to use my calculator here so that you can see what I'm doing. So the sum of 4 terms. Sometimes people want to associate sigma notation with formulas for Sn. Now, we don't have Sn for a quadratic graph. We don't have one. But I think you can find 4 values this side and subtract 2 values that side. Okay? So without using a formula, this is how we can calculate the sum. Sum means add. So I'm going to find term 1 plus term 2 plus term 3 plus term 4. This is for the first piece of the sigma notation. I will subtract again term 1 plus term 2. Now, all this means the sum of 4 terms. All this means the sum of 2 terms. So that's basically what I'm doing here. So I'm going to try to find those terms. And on the side, I want you to watch carefully. On the side, I'm going to punch my calculator. Remember, this is where term 1 starts. For this one, your term 1 will start at k is equal to 0. And then you add 1, k is equal to 1. You add 1, k is equal to 2. You add 1, k is equal to 3. So as I'm using my calculator, watch carefully what I'm doing. So here's my calculator. I already have g of k to find the series. So I'll be punching 1 over 2. I'm looking at all of this, right? So let's go. 1 over 2 into, my first term starts from 0 squared minus 3 multiplied by 0 and then plus 9 over 2. Plus 9 over 2. This is equal to 9 over 2. That's my term 1. That's my term 1. So term 1 is 9 over 2 plus. What is term 2? I'm going to my calculator. I'm not starting afresh. I'll just edit. Now from 0 plus 1, I add to 1. I'm going to 1. My term 2 is at k equal to 1. Equal sign, that is a 2. I'll write the 2 plus. Term 3, from 1, I move to what? To 2. Substitute 2 where there is k. Okay, that's a 2. that's a 2 equal to, that's a half, plus, and then term 4 is k equal to 3. Remember, I started from 0. K equal to 3. I will edit, put my 3 here, put my 3. Right, so remember we said the last value is at k equal to 3. So when I put my 3, what does my calculator give me? It gives me a 0. So this is the sum of 4 terms without using a formula. Minus, this side I want the sum of what? I want the sum of 2 terms. The sum of 2 terms is term 1 and term 2. But where is term 1? Term 1 will start at k equal to 4 from g. So g of k, sorry. So here let me substitute my 4. Delete, put a 4. Delete this one, put a 4. That's my term 1. It starts at 4. And then plus term 2. From 4 you add 1. Now it's 5. From 4, that was term 1. Then you go to 5. And 5 should be the last value I substitute. So we almost done. Edit. Oh my god. Put a 5. There we have it. When you substitute k equal to 5, you get a value of what? Of 2, like this. You can even do this without a calculator. Without the brackets, this is 1 over 2 plus 2 plus 1 over 2 plus 0 minus half minus what? Minus 2. Because this side we multiply with the negative, right? So if you can check, 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2 is gone. 0, no impact. Plus 2 minus 2 is gone. So your answer is going to be 9 over 2 plus 0. So the value to all of these is what? It is 9 over 2. So thank you for listening and watching the video here. Let's mark the question. It's a very complex question to mark, but either way, it is what? It is 4 marks. So I think the number of terms is very important. Determining the number of terms you want to take the sum of. So that's very important. Sum of 4 minus sum of 2. For finding the series this side, and then subtracting those values, those two sums, then get what? Your 4 marks. Okay. Thank you very much. Signing out.